Have you ever woken up, not reached for your phone, and just sat with your thoughts? Imagine this: early morning light slipping through the curtains, the sound of your kids playing in the yard, and instead of diving into the chaos of notifications, you sit down with a pen and your journal. It's quiet, it's personal, it's intentional. That's how I start my mornings now, not with endless scrolling, not with emails or news feeds, but with journaling. For years I treated it like a hobby, something I'd pick up and drop again, and again. But deep down I knew it mattered. I knew it had the power to change something inside me. Still, I couldn't make it stick. Until one day a friend gave me the simplest advice: why not just start now? That small nudge was all I needed. I picked up a journal, nothing fancy, and began writing one line a day. That tiny habit grew. It became part of my routine. It became a tool I now can't live without. Journaling for me is more than just a habit. It's a lifeline. It's where clarity is born, where thoughts become visible, and where the noise in my head finally quiets down. Whether it's a gratitude entry, a reflection on a challenge, or simply noting a moment I don't want to forget, each page helps me get closer to who I'm trying to become. And here's something I've discovered over the years: journaling and Stoicism are deeply connected. You almost can't have one without the other. The daily questions, the honest self-inquiry, the space to prepare for life's tests, all of it lives in the pages of my journals. So in today's episode on Daily Stoic Habits, I want to walk you through 5 journaling practices that have completely transformed the way I think, live, and navigate challenges. Whether you're a seasoned writer or someone who's never kept a journal in your life, these habits are simple, powerful, and rooted in timeless Stoic wisdom. Let's begin with the first one. And trust me, it's not what you think. Habit number 1, just start. No pressure, no perfection. Here's the first and maybe most important lesson about journaling. Just start. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect notebook, the perfect pen, or the perfect moment. You don't need a quiet cabin in the woods or a beautifully lit desk by the window. You just need to begin with whatever you have, wherever you are. I used to worry about doing it right. How long should I write? Should I reread my entries? Should I be writing something profound every time? But over time, I realized that none of that really mattered. What matters most is consistency, not perfection. One of the tools that helped me build the habit was something incredibly simple: a one-line-a-day journal. It sounds almost too easy, but that's exactly the point. Anyone, no matter how busy, can write one sentence a day, just one. And when you do it day after day, that small sentence becomes a thread that weaves through your life, capturing moments, growth, and perspective. You're not trying to write a novel. You're not trying to be poetic or wise. You're simply showing up. Some days it might be a single sentence: I felt overwhelmed at work. Other days it might be something beautiful you noticed. The sun hit the coffee cup just right, and that's enough. That's more than enough. The power lies not in the length of what you write, but in the act of returning to the page, again and again. Like meditation, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. You wouldn't start meditating by sitting for an hour your first day. You'd begin with 5 minutes. Journaling is the same. Start small. Build the muscle. Let it grow. And if you're wondering where to begin, here's a gentle suggestion. Start with something tangible. Keep a workout log, a reading journal, a simple gratitude list, something that's already a part of your life. Once the habit is there, it naturally expands into deeper reflections. This isn't about impressing anyone. It's not even about creating something to look back on, though that may happen. It's about showing up for yourself, giving your mind space to breathe, letting your thoughts land somewhere solid. Once you've built that small habit, the door opens to something greater: a richer relationship with yourself, a deeper sense of awareness, and that's where the next habit comes in. Habit number 2, choose paper over screens. Make it real in a world overflowing with apps, voice notes, and digital distractions. There's something quietly revolutionary about putting pen to paper. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually wrote something by hand, not a shopping list, not a scribbled note, but a thought, a feeling, something meaningful? There's a different kind of presence that happens when you write on paper. It slows you down. It makes the experience real. When I started taking journaling seriously, I made one small but powerful choice. I went analog. I chose notebooks over apps, pens over keyboards, no glowing screen, no notifications, just the sound of the page and my own thoughts settling into ink. Why does this matter? Because digital entries are easy to forget, easy to delete, easy to ignore. But physical journals? They sit on your shelf. They gather the weight of time. They become archives, not just of what you thought, but who you were. There's a story I love about Steve Jobs. When biographer Walter Isaacson was researching his life, he tried to recover some of Steve's old digital journals, files written on early Mac systems, but they couldn't retrieve them. Despite all the technology in the world, those files were gone, lost, and yet we can still open the notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci, his sketches, his scribbles, his observations from over 500 years ago. Because paper, simple, humble paper, lasts. There's something sacred about that. A sense that your thoughts matter enough to live in a physical space. A place where they can be seen, revisited, and reflected upon. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to be real. I'm not saying digital is useless. For some, it works. But when it comes to depth, focus, and clarity, there's something undeniably grounding about journaling with a pen. It's like your hand slows down enough for your mind to catch up. So if you're starting your journaling journey, try paper. Try writing where there are no alerts, no red dots, no distractions. Let the act of writing become a ritual, a quiet rebellion against the chaos of modern life. And once you're grounded on paper, you'll discover something even deeper, something the Stoics themselves understood well. That journaling isn't just about recording thoughts, it's about transforming them. And that leads us to the third habit. Habit number 3. Don't perform. Write for yourself. Here's the truth that most people miss. Your journal is not an audience. It's not a stage. It's not a place to perform, to impress, or to be perfect. It's a mirror. It's a safe room. It's a conversation with yourself, and no one else. When I first started journaling more seriously, there was a moment of hesitation. What if someone read this? What if I sound inconsistent? What if I contradict myself? But that's the beauty of a journal. It should be messy. It should be raw. Because life is messy. And we are too. One of the most misunderstood Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, left behind a collection of writings we now call Meditations. It wasn't a book he wrote for the world. It wasn't intended for publication. It was his personal notebook, a place where he could wrestle with his own thoughts, his fears, his failings, his hopes. Some academics criticize the work for being repetitive, but that's because they don't understand what it truly is. It wasn't a polished philosophy book, it was a living document of someone trying to stay steady in a chaotic world. Sometimes the same thoughts return because the same battles return. That's what journaling is. A return, a reminder, a recalibration. And you know what? You're allowed to contradict yourself. You're allowed to sound confused, angry, hopeful, grateful, all in the same week or even the same day. The page doesn't judge, it doesn't roll its eyes, it doesn't scroll past your thoughts or skip your story. It just listens. Anne Frank once wrote, "Paper is more patient than people." And she was right. The journal is there when no one else is. It holds your truth without questioning your right to feel it. So stop writing for future readers who may never come. Stop pretending to be wise or strong if that's not how you feel. Write what's real. Write what's true today, even if it changes tomorrow. Write like no one's watching. Because they're not. And that's the point. And here's the reward. The more honest you are on the page, the more clarity you'll gain in your life. Thoughts that felt tangled start to unravel. Emotions that felt overwhelming start to soften because you've given them space to be seen and processed. This practice of honesty isn't just cathartic, it's strategic. It prepares you for what's ahead. It sharpens your inner compass, and that's exactly what the next habit is all about. Habit number 4, use your journal to prepare for life's tests. Journaling isn't just about reflection, it's also about preparation. Think of it like this. Your journal can be a private training ground, a place where you rehearse not just what you felt, but what you will face. A space where you get stronger, calmer, clearer, before life throws its next curveball. When I open my journal, I often ask questions that pull me into the future. What am I preparing for right now? What challenge is coming that I haven't seen yet? If today turns difficult, how do I want to respond? These aren't vague prompts. They're drills. Just like athletes train off-season for the real games, we too can mentally and emotionally prepare for what's ahead. That's what the Stoics taught. Preparation, rehearsal, mental fortitude. One of the most useful tools I've used is a journal with prompts. Simple daily questions like, how can I turn today's difficulties into a test of character? Or, what virtue do I want to practice more today? Patience, courage, humility. Writing your answers in the morning helps set your mindset. Then, reviewing them in the evening helps you measure how you did. Did you meet the challenge? Did you hold your temper? Did you stay aligned with your values, or did you drift? It's not about being perfect. It's about awareness. About putting your thoughts and actions under gentle review, not harsh judgment. And here's the powerful part. This habit trains you to respond, not react. Instead of being swept away by anger, stress, or fear, you've already faced it on the page. You've seen the storm before it arrived. So when it hits, you're not surprised, you're steady. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Imagining obstacles in advance so you can face them with grace, not panic. Journaling is a perfect tool for this. It's where you test your beliefs, your patience, your principles, before life tests them for real. Think of it like this. A fighter trains in the gym long before the arena. A leader considers tough choices long before they're forced to make them. Your journal is that quiet gym, that calm room before the noise. And the more you train there, the more resilient you become. But it's not just about discipline and mental drills. Journaling also gives you something softer, something deeply human. And that's where we'll go next. Habit number 5. Let the page hold what people can't. Life is overwhelming. Some days it feels like too much noise, too much pressure, too many thoughts fighting for space in your head. And here's the thing, we're often tempted to spill those emotions somewhere, on a coworker, on a loved one, on the driver in front of us who's going too slow. But what if there was a better place for all that energy to land? That place is your journal. There's a quote I come back to often, one you may have heard in school. Anne Frank once wrote, "Paper is more patient than people." And she was right. The page doesn't interrupt. It doesn't argue. It doesn't get tired or take things personally. It simply receives. When I'm upset, I go to the page. When I'm stressed, I go to the page. When my thoughts are racing or looping or growing too loud, I go to the page. And what happens next is something almost magical. I start to see things more clearly. I realize I'm not actually as angry as I thought. Or maybe I am, but now it has a shape. It has a name. And once a thought has been written down, it becomes easier to carry or easier to set down completely. Journaling gives you distance from your mind. It lets you step back and say, wait, do I really believe this thought? Do I really want to act on this feeling? So often the answer is no. But you don't know that until you've seen it in writing. That's the quiet power of journaling. It's not dramatic, it doesn't make headlines, but it transforms you from the inside. It turns reactive energy into reflective energy. It helps you avoid hurting the people you love or sabotaging the person you're trying to become. And maybe the best part? It keeps your thoughts safe. The journal doesn't judge, it doesn't leak your secrets. It doesn't need you to be strong or perfect or together. It just listens. Over time, these private pages become a trusted friend, a place you return to, not just to process life, but to understand yourself. And if you want to live by Stoic values, to be calm in chaos, steady in hardship, grateful in daily life, this is how it begins. Not with lectures or libraries or long speeches, but with 5 quiet habits. On the page. Every day. Still wondering if journaling is just a soft, personal practice with no real-world application? Let's rewind to one of the most dangerous moments in modern history, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The world was on the brink of nuclear war. One wrong move could have ended millions of lives. And yet, amid the pressure, the chaos, and the impossible decisions, President John F. Kennedy was writing. Not speeches, not policies, but notes to himself, scribbles, doodles, repeated words like missile, 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 and consensus, consensus, consensus. Legal pads filled with personal reflections. He was using journaling not as a luxury, but as a mental tool. A way to slow down his thinking, manage his emotions, and gain clarity under crushing pressure. Think about that. The leader of the free world, in the middle of a global standoff, still took time to write out his thoughts. Why? Because it helped him lead better, respond better, think better. That's the power of journaling. It creates just enough distance between emotion and action to keep you grounded when the world feels like it's spinning. Julia Cameron, author of The Artist's Way, calls this practice spiritual windshield wipers. And the metaphor is perfect. Each morning when you sit down to write, you're clearing away the mental fog, wiping off the fear, the self-doubt, the lingering dust from yesterday's worries, so that you can see the road ahead more clearly. It doesn't matter if you're leading a nation or just trying to lead yourself through a difficult week. Journaling helps. It calms the storm inside so you can face the storm outside, and it doesn't have to be polished or pretty. Kennedy sketched sailboats on the same pads, where he planned responses to potential nuclear attacks. Because sometimes even a simple drawing can offer a moment of peace, a way to zoom out and breathe again. So if you ever feel like your life is too busy or your stress too big to journal, remember this. If JFK could do it during the Cuban Missile Crisis, you can do it during your Monday morning meeting. It might just save your day or change your direction entirely. If you found these journaling habits helpful, there's so much more waiting for you. On Daily Stoic Habits, we share powerful insights like this every week, rooted in ancient wisdom, made practical for modern life. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who could use a little more clarity, calm, or courage. Your journal is waiting. Your thoughts are ready. Start writing. Start transforming.